I've been wanting to make this video for months, but I couldn't get past the title. I figured that just said it all. So that's it. That's the video. Okay, I guess I should explain. One of the reasons I didn't know how to talk about this video is because the term videographer it's really hard to describe. The best image I can use to illustrate what a videographer is to point you to Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. When you look at the term videographer online, its origin is several decades ago, when consumer electronics became more prevalent in the 80s and the camcorder was able to get into more people's hands. Then we started to have what we considered a videographer. A videographer was always a little bit different from a filmmaker in that this was someone that you could readily hire. Clients could have access to for everyday types of things, whether it's your birthday parties, your weddings, or your special events, or your speaking engagements, whatever it was, a videographer could be there to do all of those things. So when I got my first camera when I was 17 in about 2004, 2005, I didn't identify as anything. I just liked editing. I just liked capturing these images and putting these stories together. And so when I discovered the term videographer, it fit really well. And I actually really enjoyed using it. I thought that it was a good all-encompassing word to be able to describe the things that I liked to do. Fast forward a decade or more, and cameras are prevalent. Everyone has a camera on their phone. Now we have vloggers and influencers and content creators and all these new terms to describe people with cameras and people who make stuff online. That videographer no longer serves the purpose that it once used to. And the biggest problem I had is when I started doing videography work for clients, I had no problem with using the term videographer at first. I understood that this is what people were looking for. I understood that it was going to get me work. I understood that it was a term that described exactly what I was doing. And then as years went by and I realized how clients would look at videographers when they want to make content or when they want to make a video or promote something and they need someone to help them make a video for it, their first instinct is to look for a videographer. Why? Because in their mind, a videographer is cheaper. A videographer is not a whole full-fledged team. A videographer is someone who has a camera, knows how to use it, and can do a whole bunch of different things. And because it's only one person, we only have to pay the one person. And that bothered me because, you see, on a film set, you have a person to light things, you have a person to capture sound, you have a person that runs the camera, you have a person directing, you have a person producing, making sure we're on schedule. We have people worrying about catering, we have people worrying about grip stuff and the equipment and the trucks and the rentals. And so there's a person for every job. And yet, as a videographer for clients, I was expected to do all of those things as one person. Do you see the problem? Because I think when we use the term videographer, we understand what that means and we get it and we like to cater to it. And we know peer-to-peer what that entails. When a client uses the term videographer, they mean more for less. It's a easy project, and it's we only really need one person to handle it because it's super simple or it's easy or whatever, and we don't need a whole team or anything and all this kind of stuff and blah, 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 blah. When you hear things like that, what they're really trying to say is they don't want to pay for it. And don't get me wrong, I think videographer and videography is still a valid term, all-encompassing term for what people do. I think wedding videographers specifically, like what else are you going to use? People understand it. They're going to understand it the same way they understand wedding photographer. It's just one of those things. It's a word that works. But for me, I just don't like identifying by that term anymore. And the problem is, I don't know that there's a better term for that. I mean, yes, I'm a content creator. Yes, I'm a freelancer. Yes, I'm a video producer. nothing has the same effect as videographer does. So, but when it comes to my clients, I just say, hey, I'm a director. I'm a cinematographer, I'm a director, or I'm a producer. I use whatever term I need to show them that I'm one person that's part of a team. Because there's a person in the world that's getting paid just to know that one thing, and they're getting paid more than you. And so it's unfair for videographers to, for some reason, have to be the person that does everything. And there's always going to be someone cheaper. There's always going to be someone out there with that camera who is just trying to get started, who has everything, who has a camera and a gimbal and a microphone and can produce content for brands and stuff for cheap as a one-man band. And there's always going to be that person that's going to do that. Unfortunately, when you use the term videographer, you're demeaning the amount of work that goes into a freelancer or a content producer or a director or any of those things. You're undermining everything that they do, everything that they've learned in order to get to where they are. And frankly, you're not paying enough for it. So I just want it to be known. The term videographer is a dirty word. I don't want to be called a videographer anymore. I don't want my work to be identified as videography. It's not a term that I want to use for what I do anymore. And I think there's a lot of people out there, filmmakers and content producers and directors and cinematographers, people out there who also agree with me. If we're going to get clients and we're going to get other people to start taking us seriously, then we need to stop using that word. Anyway, this was all just a big rant because I did not know how to write this down. I did not know how to write the script. So I don't know. If you agree with me, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, or if you think there's a better term, or if you think that we should embrace the term videographer or whatever, put a comment down below. I want to hear from you because I think this is an ongoing conversation. I really have thoughts about this and I spoke them all here, but I'm sure that there's other people that have thoughts about this and I'm curious about if I'm the only one who believes this. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. And I just wanted, I've been wanting to make this video for months. I'm done with it. I can finally finish it and move on and do something else. This video is brought to you by Spice Drum. Kraken.